There we
All right.
go.
As we're live, but I'm going over to check it. So give me a moment, everybody, if you're on here watching, because there's always a little bit of a delay. All right, see, it says starting soon. Oh, started. Let's see. Not yet. So we're almost live. If somebody's on here right now, they probably are seeing us. It's kind of weird how this works. Well, actually, the recording is going on right now, but until I see this come in here, it looks like it's going to happen now. There it is. Okay. Let me come back to you and me. Okay, here we are, live from New York, upstate New York. We are here. I am Ellie Walsh.
And I am Carol Makowski. Hi.
Hi, and we are here. The Law of Success. We've been here for lots of weeks on end. We did the last 2 weeks. Sorry, folks. Our Mondays got a little messed up. But tonight, we are on the final chapter, final lesson.
Right.
Which is the Golden Rule.
Right, right.
So, are you going to take us in?
Yeah, we'll get started here. Okay. Now, Napoleon spoke about the Golden Rule in the last chapter. And this chapter, he really goes into it. His version of not version, I'm going to say interpretation of the Golden Rule. And it's a chapter which is typical of his presentation, where he does a lot of repetition. And I believe he does the repetition for the purpose of teaching and getting people to understand and be open to what it is he's saying. And out of his repetition, I picked out 4 points that I could see that were of interest to me, that I saw within what he was saying. One is that the Golden Rule is akin to the law of attraction. The second, now I'm going to go back into these. The second is that practicing the Golden Rule, also practicing the law of attraction through auto-suggestion helps us build our own character. The third is likening the whole situation, the Golden Rule, the law of attraction, to the old adage of an eye for an eye. Now that may sound odd. We'll go into that a little bit. And fourthly, he spends a lot of time talking about labor and capital. And I will talk about that. It's going to be difficult for me not to liken it to today's politics, but I'm going to do my best to stay out of that because that's not what he was talking about. And my version is to discuss what Napoleon does. Ellie, fortunately, is able to bring it into today's life. So we have 2 different little versions, approaches to Napoleon's book. So let's go back to item number 1, the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. He kind of reverses it a little bit, and he says what you're going to get back from other people is what you put out to people. And that's what the law of attraction says, is the vibration that you put out is the vibration that you're going to attract. Napoleon says we're like magnets. What we put out, we attract back to us. Law of attraction says vibrationally. He has spoken about vibration in previous chapters. He didn't mention it in this one, but he talks about not only actions, but thoughts. What you think about other people is what they're going to think about you. And our thoughts create our lives. Our thoughts create us. Okay, so that's...
So wait, I have to interrupt. I can't sit here and not interrupt.
No, do, please.
So what you think about other people is what other people think about you. I don't even know if he might have said it that way, but...
He did?
What you think about other people is a vibration that you're putting out into the world. As far as I thought this was too wordy, this chapter. Sometimes he gets me. Okay, sometimes I love him, and sometimes I'm like, Napoleon, get on with it. But that's because we are 80, whatever, how many years ago he wrote this book, all right, advanced. And we know about this stuff. So this was really more new information he was putting out then. It's like, I know this already. But what I think about somebody is a vibration I'm putting out into the universe. And in essence, you can all debate me if you want. What you think about somebody is what you think about you. That's all I'm going to say. You all ought to look at that one. Because, you know, I know if I'm
Just saying.
if I just say it, because if I'm judging somebody, and I've been guilty of doing that, okay, sometimes I catch myself, I'm kind of surprised at it. What I then am aware of is, holy crap, if I'm judging somebody else, it really means I'm judging me, and I'm not even freaking aware of it. So he didn't say all of that, but that's what I'm saying. Go ahead, go on.
All right. I'm going to move along to point number 2 right now, which is, you know, what we put out is what we get back. And his thought was that he was a kind man. I really liked Napoleon. I wish we could hang out together today. But I think he was a very kind man. And his thing was to be kind to other people. It will benefit you in the long run because of that reciprocity. But he also believed in humanity, being kind to other people. So he said, when you put out kindness, goodness to other people, do that, he said. And he said, sometimes you don't get that back from people. Sometimes their actions back to you are not so nice. But he also says that using that principle, or he likes to call them the law. Yeah, I know you're biting your tongue. Just hang in there for a minute. Let me say what I'm going to say, and then you come in and add, please. He talks about the law of autosuggestion, which is what we feed ourselves in terms of our beliefs, rather than taking from the environment and external forces. And he says, as long as we put out good, we're feeding ourselves good, and that's what builds our character. If you remember in a previous chapter, he talked about reputation is created by other people. Our reputation is created by other people, but our character, our personality, is created by ourselves, by our thoughts primarily, by our actions, which result from our thoughts. So he says, as I said, by putting out good deeds towards other people, we are building positive character for ourselves and good things for ourselves. Now, I saw you biting your tongue there.
Well, I actually forgot some of it what I was biting my tongue for, but you know, what I put out there, am I going to get it back from those same people? He calls it character building. I do believe that. I believe it's a character building, but I really think it's a being in tune with who you really are. So I wouldn't really call it character. I really think we are really all good character loving people. That's who we really are, and we have been taught, or we've lived situations where it's not what we're portraying. Okay, I understand there's a lot of people who act like fools, okay, and do mean, horrible things. I don't disagree with any of that. I still say that we all are really what he calls good character. That is who we are innately, and we just don't live up to it. And we could really get into that of why, and environmentally, and we were just having a discussion about that. But what I'm putting out to other people, if I'm not getting it back from them, and that's true, all right? You do good stuff for people, and they kind of like give you the finger, maybe. But you are getting it back because you feel good. You know, we act like we do shit for other people. Sorry, we really don't. I mean, we do, but we don't. The reason why we do good stuff for other people is because it makes us feel good. Even if it's the fact that because some people do thank you, that person like really thanked us and said, thank you so much, I'm so grateful that you did that for me, that makes you feel good. So this idea that we really do things for other people, well, we do, but we really do it for ourselves. That's like inborn within us. I feel good. even when I hold the door for somebody, and it's not a thought that I think, oh, I'm going to go hold the door for that person because then I feel good. Because some people, they don't even say thank you. They don't smile at you or nothing. They act like, you were supposed to hold the door for me. But I do it. The truth is, when I'm 100% honest with myself, I do it because I feel good about me, about life, about humanity, all right, when I hold the door for somebody. That's all I'll say now.
Okay. Well, he talks about reciprocity and mutuality, as I mentioned in this chapter, a lot. And I don't disagree at all with what you're saying. That, and again, he talks about our own character, building our character in a positive way. So, yes, I believe that Napoleon thought that doing good for other people is humanitarian, does other people good, and it equally does ourselves good. Yes, we do feel good when that happens, and yeah, it makes us, quote, better people, if you will. Right.
So I would call it aligning with our character, because who we really are those people anyways, right from the start. And then we've been, whatever environment you've been brought up in is the environment that you've taken, is the thought and beliefs you've taken on. So if you've been brought up in people, you can be vulnerable and people are going to take advantage of you and you got to get there first. And, you know, you believe that. You believe that. You believe that's what life's all about. Unless you do this work. Unless you do this work, you believe that. I'll shut up again.
All right.
For a while. I don't know for how long. I can't promise.
No, that's fine. I like this reciprocity, if you will. Okay. Let me go on to point number 3, which he likens the golden rule, the law of attraction, to the old adage of an eye for an eye. What's the rest of it? A tooth for a tooth?
Tooth.
Yeah. Does that come out of the Bible originally? Yeah. Okay. And today that is literally practiced in some cultures. Somebody steals something and they get their hand hacked off for doing it. However, Ellie and I were talking about this earlier today, and we always think of that, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, in a negative context, in a negative framework. But it can be a positive one, too. You know, I steal something from you, you come and hack off my hand, all right, that's one thing. But another thing is, you know, I do something nice for you, and when you get a chance, very good chance that you'll probably reciprocate and do something nice for me. And I see that as the positive context of looking at this eye for an eye business. So.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think he could have summed this all up by calling it the law of attraction. That's what the law of attraction is. Yeah. If I'm putting out good, if I'm stepping away from judging you, it's not like I don't judge people. I do, okay? Not as much as I did, because it's becoming more natural for me to not, but I still, it depends, okay? There are some days I'm like, whoa. And you know, but if I step away from that and I just keep, you know, trying to see and be, okay, the best me I can be today, it comes back to me. It does come back to me. It doesn't always come back to me in the material form or in the form from another being. Sometimes how it comes back to me is within my own feeling about me and my life.
True, right.
That's huge.
Either way, right.
That's the most important way it should come back to you anyways.
Yep, absolutely. And now on to the fourth issue or the fourth point that I got out of this. And Napoleon talks about, remember again, in the historical context, this was about a decade after the end of World War I. It was the beginning of the 20th century. Things were changing. We were coming out of an agrarian society, and he calls it moving into the industrialized age, and he equates that to the age of organized effort. Now, he begins to talk about capital and labor in this section, and let me just collect my thoughts for a second, see where I want to go with this. Okay, it's organized labor and not organized labor, I'm sorry, labor and capital were two different entities within the industrialized age. Capital represented the wealth, the people who had the money to invest, to create the jobs for the people who were the laborers. So ideally speaking, and in Napoleon's projection, vision, he wanted to see this as mutuality, reciprocity. He wanted to see capital and labor be able to work well together for the benefit of both. And he said that actually capital could not eat, he says, their silver or gold. So they were perhaps even more dependent on labor than labor was on the capital. I don't know, maybe half and half. But because capital was willing to invest in a variety of different areas, this opened up diverse jobs to people that didn't exist before. I mean, before people used to grow their food and raise their animals and whatever. Now they can work in different industries. They could work in the railroad industry. They could work in the mining industry. They could work in the shipping industry. The auto industry was beginning to come forth during that time frame. Factories were coming up. All these kinds of things that were not available to people before. So it also gave the labor market an opportunity to earn some money so that they could purchase some commodities and have some expansion in their life, more than what they've ever had before. The potential was there. Now, unfortunately, Napoleon says that at times greed came in here, and the capitalists, the people with the capital, wanted to get, well, both. He actually speaks, I'm going to back up a minute, because he actually speaks of both entities. He speaks of the capital people wanting to get the most that they could for their money with the least amount of investment. So they wanted to pay the least wages that they possibly could, and yet get the best work out of the people that they could, with the exception of Henry Ford. He did things backwards in those days, and he got good results. But at the same time, while that actually became oppressive to the labor folks, and the labor people started becoming angry, and they wanted the most that they could possibly get with the least amount of effort. I'm going to be finished in just one moment here. And they started organizing and fighting against, if you will. So instead of that cooperation, that vision of cooperation that Napoleon had, where, my God, the culture, the country could expand humongously to the benefit of all, he began to see where there was instead a potential for conflict and fighting and constriction rather than expansion. And go ahead, Ellie. I see you. Well,
I'm laughing because your political preferences are definitely showing through. Okay, because you blamed the capitalists, and he doesn't. He doesn't say which one did it first. Okay, and he says there's greed on both ends, and no. I agree with that. Now, my political preference would probably go the other way right now. Okay, I was a little amazed at. Oh crap, we're still here. Okay, and we might be here even in a bigger way. But I don't, when I really look at it, I go, you know, he was writing about this information then, and vibration and your thoughts and how your thought creates your life. But the majority of people didn't know it. And when I grew up, people didn't talk about this.
Yeah.
Nobody told me to read Napoleon Hill. Well, I mean, I was in my 30s probably when I read it. Think and Grow Rich, not this book. And I wasn't brought up with those ideas. You know, but today I think there are more people that are getting it, that are getting the law of attraction, that are getting that whatever I put out is what I'm going to get back. And so I don't even know if they're getting of, well, we all want to get along, but, well, we got to friggin' get along. And we got to find a way to do that if I want to feel good. You see, so we're all selfish. You know, if you talk about being selfish as a bad, we're all selfish because we only have self to come from. So we are self-centered. We absolutely are self-centered. And again, we act like that we don't care about taking care of other people, but again, that's not true because we do feel good, all right? But we are taught this crap about being vulnerable and people are going to take things away from you, and so I still say that's shifting. At first, when I read this pissed me off, okay, that like all these years later, and we're here, maybe even in a bigger way, except then I took it beyond that. I expanded beyond that and said, no, more people are getting this now than they ever did. And, you know, I don't know who he was quoting, if it was him that he was quoting, but he went on and on and on for pages, and he was said, some of the changes will be destructive. He actually says that. And you realize that, you know, destruction, meaning, you know, things are destroyed, that's not a bad thing because you can't rebuild unless something's destroyed. And I don't mean towns and cities and crap like that, but belief systems, you know, and certain ways that things are done. Just because we've been doing it that way all along, it probably should be destroyed, and we need to build it back up. So I'm not, here's all I care about. This is the damn truth. This is how freaking self-centered I am, okay? I don't give a crap what happened when he wrote this book, or I do and I don't care about what's happening to other people. I need to know, how does this apply to my life today? Because that's the only reason why I read this book. How does this apply to my life today? So I could read it and get pissed off. I have a choice, okay, because of my preferences of how I would like to say, my political preferences, because all those parties, as far as I'm concerned, they're all full of crap. So obviously I'm showing you where I'm at with this. But how does this affect my life today? You know, and for me, it still comes back to the most important stuff that he talks about, that obviously cooperation, you know, and we're, at least people online are more into that, because we understand relationship marketing. We understand that, you know, and I think businesses, there are brick and mortar businesses that understand that, because I think we understand, not everybody, but, you know, more about who we are and how integrated. He talks about how integrated we all are. You know, so how does this, you know, capital and labor, and part of me says, you want to know how it affects my life? I have to stay out of their crap. I do. I need to stay out of anybody's drama. I love the new saying now, you know, not my circus, not my monkeys. I don't know how new it is, but I've been hearing it lately. You know, it's true. Like, I ain't getting in that drama. I'm not getting in other, because when I get in that drama, what am I projecting back out? So I just want to know, what do I believe? That's what's really important. What do I believe? And I believe in fairness, that, you know, nobody should get overpaid if somebody's being underpaid. All right? If somebody's being underpaid, you all better be being underpaid. Or if somebody's being overpaid, you all better be being paid overpaid, because you are all an important part in whatever process that is. That's my belief, and that doesn't mean that I always see that, but that's my belief. And so if there's anything about character in there, it's I just need to stay true to my belief and not get caught up, and this is not always easy, in anybody else's stuff, which is why I don't watch the news anymore. Okay, I'm stopping.
All right. Yes, what you said, connection. Napoleon has said this throughout, and I mean, we know this, that we're all connected. And I think that became so prominent during the war, because he referred to it many times after World War I, that you cannot destroy one part of the world without it affecting the whole world. So, and he also, on a more minuscule level, he talks about labor and capital, and he says, you know, without one party hurting, with one party hurting, the other party's going to hurt also. Now, here's his view, though, and I'm going to just read it. He says the relationship between capital and labor must be viewed from a higher purpose than wages and accumulation of wealth. Rather, the purposes for which man was created. I love that. I love that. He almost brought me to tears a couple of times through this chapter.
Isn't that the way to, not just about capital and labor, isn't that the way to look at life, period?
Yes, of course. But that just happened to be the context he was talking about at that time. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But that was all new now, don't forget. The industrial age was just, coming about. So.
And in this chapter, he, some of those chapters, he goes on and on and on really about personal development, which I love. And then all of a sudden he goes on a few people that want to know this for business and to make money. But this chapter he really did. He goes on and on and on about personal development. And then he kind of talks about, how you're going to see it, because I know you people, you want to make money and all. But of course he also talks about there's no such thing as success without happiness. Right. And that's not the first time he said that. In this chapter, it's not the first time he said that. And I almost feel like he almost says in this chapter, and if you haven't gotten it yet, like this book is all about damn personal development, and we just made believe it was about business success, because without personal development, there is no true, real business success.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that there is almost an underlying flavor to this, and that is that I'm talking about business, and I'm talking about success in business, but really what I'm talking about is happiness in your life, and that equals success in your life.
Right. I disguise this personal development book as a business
development book.
But here's the kicker with that. Okay, I called it a business success book, and you're doing all personal development work. And if you do all this personal development work, you will have business success, because now that's all law of attraction, or he could call it all the other laws he wants, but it's all law of attraction, because you will have personal success and business. It will just come. It will just be there for you. It will be there for you. Because when what you put out is what you bring back.
I know, having read this book now, I wish I had leisure time to just read it 3 or 4 more times, but at some point maybe I will. I will never be quite the same as I was before having read it. There are things that he has said that are indelible in my mind and in my spirit, my soul now, and I will always remember them. And as I said, I really love this guy Napoleon.
And it was true. We'll go through it through the week, and we'll all of a sudden we'll say something, then we'll go, oh, Napoleon talks about this, right?
Right.
You don't realize how much the book actually has become a part of you. I do believe it's a book. I made lots of highlights and all in it, so that's kind of cool too when you go back to a chapter, because I'm a scanner anyways. I scan read, and then pick out points, and then your eye will go to other points, and I listened to the audio, but I make the guy talk fast because that guy talks too slow. He's not from New York who does the audio.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I was grateful to read this, but we are at the final chapter.
Yep.
Mother taught you to live the golden rule.
What's that?
So I'm laughing because my mother's not in this physical world anymore, but she's probably thinking, I don't know why you had to read that book. I told you to live the golden rule.
Right, exactly.
And because my mother would say it instead, you do the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and she would say, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yes. Yep.
Which I guess is that version of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth,
Yeah, the positive version of it. Yeah.
So there are
so many. there are so many things in the trainings that we go through and the meetings that we attend having to do with our marketing business that, my God, you can just say, holy mackerel, they must have read this book because, I mean, from your vision, your goal, to making a plan, to building self-confidence, to having integrity, to uplifting other people along with you. I mean, it's all there. I hear it over and over again from the different speakers, the different leaders in this business.
Well, also many books have been written after this, okay?
Yeah.
And of course, he read Emerson.
Right.
He doesn't talk about him, but I bet you he read The Science of Getting Rich, which is the next book we're talking about reading. Now, that's a tiny book. We won't be doing this for 15, 16 weeks. It's a really tiny book, you know, but I'd like to do some stuff. Maybe we'll bring that here to the group. I read that book years ago online, and now I bought the physical version. I'm back to the physical versions of books. I have a Kindle, and that's great for when I go away, but I like to mark books.
Yeah. I like to be able to flip through them.
And I think I got the audio for this book, too, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we'll have to let everybody know. I think we're going to wrap up. You ready?
Yeah. That's it. I appreciate everyone for who has joined us through this journey. Ellie, I appreciate you, and it's been a lot of fun and enlightening, certainly.
Yes, I appreciate, and I have had a lot of fun. And you know, we always talk about this during the week, but to come here and people don't realize we're just down the hall from each other. Carol's right. I'm in my office, but it's really great to do this. If you're watching this later on, you're at YouTube or what have you, and you have questions, comments, get in touch with us. So there's always ways. I always have links and all over at the YouTube channel. So get in touch with us. Come and leave your comments. I never checked today if anybody was on. You see, my brain sometimes, I don't see anybody on here. If anybody was on at the live chat, if you were, and if I ignored you, I didn't really ignore you because I didn't do it on purpose. So I apologize. But I think we're going to be back soon. Okay. So we'll put out more information. Carol's, well, that's not your page, Carol. It's Carol Mikowski page at Facebook.
I purposely
my lower third wouldn't show up tonight. I don't know why. But it's Ellie Walsh Uplifts. You'll find us, and tell us what book you want us to do.
Oh, that's cool.
I think we'll post that on the Facebook group. Tell us what book you want us to do.
Yeah, pick one with a lot of pictures in it, okay?
Pictures, right? Yeah, please. This almost broke my back. Okay, this was a big, heavy book. So pick a smaller book than this. That's all I ask. That's my one request. Okay? All right. I think we're out of here. Thank you, everybody.
Yep. Bye-bye for now.
Bye. Bye. For now.